Joel Embiid could be back as soon as tomorrow. We'll know more about his status for the Thunder later today, but this is a player, Malika, who when he left this team in late January was on course to be the first player since Wilt Chamberlain to average 35 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists in an NBA season.
And Perk, you have been adamant about the Sixers not bringing Joel Embiid back. We have all listened to you say that this season. What's your reaction now that they have announced that he could return, rather that WOJ has reported that he could return as soon as this week?
Well, my feelings are the same, but kudos to Joel Embiid because I know this decision pretty much fell in his hands and was on him. But let me say this. When it comes down to looking at this situation with the Philadelphia 76ers, they're in the play-in tournament right now. Now, if Joel Embiid is willing to jump into that fire, he's either going to come out looking like a hero or we know the other part of it. My thing is this, right? If he looks anywhere close to the Joel Embiid that we saw before the injury, how are we going to judge him in the postseason? To be fair, I feel like if he looks close to the 35 points per game, Joel Embiid, then all excuses, there are none of them when it comes down from him leading this team in the postseason and making a serious run, at least getting to the conference finals.
I'm not interested in all that quite yet.
What are you interested in?
I want to see him play, and I want to see how he looks because, look, I'm going to defer to Joel Embiid. From what I've heard about his people and the Sixers, this is a very careful, thought-out decision. There's no rushing here. He's only coming back because they are confident he can stay healthy and the knee will hold up. As far as the postseason and all that, look, they might be locked into 8th. It's going to be hard for them to get out of 8th. They do have an easy schedule, but so do the Heat. So do the Pacers. They don't have the tiebreakers. And if they're 8th, it's just a tough road. You're looking at a potential either you win the play-in first game and you get Milwaukee in the first round. That's a war. You lose the first play-in and you win the second one, you get Boston in the first round. Are we ready for Boston-Philly in the first round of the playoffs with Joel Embiid? But I'll tell you this. This is the wildest of wild cards in the NBA. If this dude is 90% of the guy that was running roughshod over the league,
right,
they have a shot to beat anybody in a playoff series.
So they are 8th right now, but look at this schedule here.
It's very easy. The Heat schedule is also very easy. The Pacers schedule is also very easy. They don't have the tiebreak against either team. And like 2 games with 6 or 7 to go is a lot. And like I don't know if you can just assume that he comes in and plays 35 minutes a game, they're all of a sudden the elite team that they were before.
Yeah, I don't see him playing 35 minutes either. And quite honestly, I think it is a little too late. I think they were expecting to come back sooner. 2 weeks left in the season, it's not enough to make up. Maybe he might come back to himself, but the team around him, the group around him is not used to playing with him. 30 games without him, those guys have to adjust. The coaching has to adjust their whole style of play. Their best bet was for him to come back earlier, try to match up with Cleveland in the first round, and then hopefully build rhythm. But if they have to match up with Milwaukee or Boston, it's an early
Kendrick
exit.
looks befuddled. Why?
Well, I am befuddled because Zach said the postseason, he's not worried about none of that stuff. Why not? What's the point of bringing them back? They only have 7 games left. The point of bringing them back is that in the organization, they must have the mindset that they actually could do something in the postseason. And I can understand that with how vulnerable the Eastern Conference is right now, Zach. Not you, Danny. I'm talking to Zach because he said he wasn't worried about all
looks
that.
good, though.
The Easter suit on Monday.
I'm trying to understand why. It's 7 games left in the regular season. We should be concerned about that and worried about that.
I'm not worried about the noise. I'm not worried about how are we going to judge him, what's his legacy going to be, the excuses. I'm not worried about any of that. I am interested and I guess worried, whatever term you want to use, about how good this team can be because they were a dominant starting 5 when they had him, when they had DeAnthony Melton. We don't know what his status is. But if they have this dude averaging 35 a game, a point a minute, or 80% or 90% of that, they're a dangerous team. I'm just not interested. I'm not going into the dialogue of it yet because let me see him play. Let's fingers crossed he's healthy and all of that.
But let's say somehow, go ahead, Kendrick.
No, go. I mean, we all want to see what he looks like tomorrow night to see how we're going to judge him. That's why I said, in all fairness, we have to see it because if he looks like the Joel Embiid we saw before injury, then he has no excuses going into the postseason.
Woj, how confident are the 76ers they're getting that full-strength Joel Embiid back?
Listen, they have really liked what they have seen. Anybody who's watched Joel Embiid work out lately, he looks ready to play to them, but he's been out a long time. He is coming off of another knee procedure. It is not easy to just walk back into an NBA season right before the playoffs and be back in an MVP form, which he was. And remember the other thing, he left a team that didn't include Buddy Hield, didn't include Kyle Lowry. He'll get to play for with those guards for the first time in this window before, as Zach said, probably the play-in tournament. But there is confidence that Joel Embiid can get back and play at a high level. But as we have seen with this Philly group, they need Joel Embiid at an MVP level to really be able to make a run at Boston, make a run at Philadelphia. That's going to be really difficult in this short window. But the clock is ticking in Philadelphia. It's ticking for this organization. It's ticking in Joel Embiid's career. There was an opportunity to be healthy and come back and play, and they've got to make a run at it.
So let's take a look at the standings to see who they could be matching up with, because if it is the Celtics who have clinched that top spot in the East, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to topple a team that's been at the top of the NBA all year long. Then the Bucks, they sit at the 2 seed, just 2.5 games ahead of the Cavaliers. You see the Sixers, they're currently in 8th. They have 7 games to go here. I think, Danny, if somehow they were to match up with the Cavaliers, you would probably pick the 76ers in that series, but it's going to be an uphill battle for them to get to that matchup.
Yeah, only because Cleveland lacks the experience. That's the only reason why. And you have Joel Embiid. I don't think they have anybody to guard him in that. And also, Cleveland has their own injury issues with Donovan Mitchell in and out of the lineup, Evan Mobley in and out of the lineup. But Philly's definitely tough enough, can score enough, and we have everybody healthy. But like Woj said, it's going to be interesting to see how Kyle Lowry, the guys that weren't there before, Buddy Hield, to both play with Joel. So, yeah, this is going to be a matchup that they would like to get so they can catch Indiana. If not, it's going to be a tough, early playoffs for them. But the only way they can build rhythm and get Joel back in good shape and be able to get to the Eastern Conference Finals if they get an easier matchup in the first round.
Usually we ask for a percentage chance, but a Zach-centage chance that they could give the Celtics a run for their money in the first round.
Zach-centage?
I was trying to come up with something better than that. I need another cup of coffee.
Well, first, the other difference between 7 and 6 is not just Milwaukee, Cleveland. It's a week off before you get to play in the playoffs versus the play-in tournament. What does give Boston a run in the first round? What does that mean?
Are they the biggest threat to the Celtics?
No. Milwaukee's the biggest threat to the Celtics.
In the East.
My percentage chance, if you're talking like tough 6-game series or 7-game series and they lose or win, 27.8% chance.
27.8. I appreciate the Zach-cision there, the precision in all of that. Perk, last word on this.
They're losing 5 if they matched up with the Boston Celtics. It'd be Celtics in 5.
I'm not laughing.
That line.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jack from Jackie Sports here. Let's talk about Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is set to return. The big man himself in Philly is going to return. What does that mean? You just saw Woj just say it. He's going to return. What does this mean for Philly's chances in the playoffs? Now, if he is 100% healthy, because remember, he's got to ramp up, and I'm pretty sure he's doing that. You just saw them talking about his how he's progressing in the weight room, progressing on the court, ramping up his conditioning. If he comes back the way he left, that spells trouble. That spells trouble for the Eastern Conference Finals, Eastern Conference playoffs, whatever you name it. They're in the play-in tournament as of right now. And, you know, can they make it out of the play-in tournament? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can. And how well will they do? Right? Because if you think about it, imagine Philly versus Milwaukee in round 1. What a series that would be, right? You have Joel Embiid playing like he was, Tyrese Maxey going off, and now you got Buddy Hield dropping threes, right? You got Kyle Lowry, I wouldn't say running the point, but you know, as a backup point guard maybe. But you have a lot of pieces in Philly, a lot of pieces that they can do very good in, right? Versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, Milwaukee Bucks, they got their own struggles going on. They don't know if this is the season. I get it. You got Damian Lillard. I get it. You got Doc Rivers, but you know that hasn't really been the season that we all thought was going to happen, right? But at the end of the day, that would be one hell of a matchup. But imagine the Celtics versus the Sixers in round 1. Who would you take? Right? That is one hell of a series. Obviously, the NBA Today panel is leaning towards the Celtics. I don't know. Like, you know, it could go either way. But the Celtics have, on paper, they have the pieces to actually get to the finals. On paper, can it transfer over? Because we just saw them lose to the Hawks last week. Even though, you know, teams have bad weeks, teams have bad days. But I know the media was eating the Celtics up on that. But Sixers, can we see those guys actually destroy the Eastern Conference Finals? Or destroy the Eastern Conference? When Joel Embiid was healthy and when he was playing at an MVP type performance, it was like no stopping this guy. The entire league was just, how the hell are you going to stop Joel Embiid? That's how good he was playing. If you get that kind of Joel Embiid, right? Obviously he is going to come back. Like, you just saw the tape. But if he comes back the same player that he left, how well do the Sixers do in the postseason? That's the question, right? So leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you guys think. Can Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and the Sixers supporting cast make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? Only one way to find out. Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you guys think. And tell me what your thoughts are. Of course, as always, it's Jag from Jaggy Sports.